my loves, welcome back. So today we are talking about synastry again, and today we are talking about an aspect that is probably one of the top 3 aspects when it comes to intensity of all aspects. I mean, I would even probably call it the most intense. Yeah. What is it? What are we talking about? Well, we're talking about Mars in a conjunction with Pluto. We could probably consider the square and the opposition also in the same range of intensity, but the thing is, when Mars and Pluto, both ruling Scorpio, both being one the conscious and one the unconscious manifestation of obsession, of force, of sheer intensity beyond words, really, because this is not an energy of words. This is an energy of you feel it, and you feel it at the core, and you feel it below the core. It's something that's in your bones. It's part of a structure. And again, we have the unconscious manifestation of it, which is Pluto, and the conscious manifestation of it, which is Mars, coming together. And when we bring that into a relationship, I mean, this is like spreading out like into all directions, right? This is not just like it goes here or it goes there. It's just, it goes everywhere. And it's like, you will feel it in every part of your relationship. Yes, you might say, well, we have it in a certain house, so this house is going to be obviously the part of the chart where this energy is going to unfold the most and where you sense it the most. And it was certainly true for me. I've had this aspect in a relationship, in a long-term relationship, and it was certainly, the house certainly told me a big story. And I utilized that. In the beginning, I wasn't able to. I didn't understand it fully, but once I got it, I used this aspect. I used this aspect for my own inner healing, for my own development. And obviously, I brought that into the relationship as well. But when you are in a relationship, both people need to be aware or become aware of this particular thing that, again, it will affect most likely all areas of your life, but this particular area that it affects, both people got to become aware of it, of their quote-unquote issue, their obsession, right? The thing that they are like just trying to just get into really deep. For me, it was the second house. So we talk about worth and value here. We talk about deep inner worth and how it expresses on the outside. But we also talk about finances, we talk about money, we talk about abundance. How do we feel abundant, or how do we not feel abundant? What does abundance mean for us? Big topics. And in my case, my partner had this particular aspect in his natal chart. So they were very familiar with this energy. Now I came in and I kind of like intensified it. So they already were familiar with this energy. So he knew this energy about himself, right? He understood this intensity. He lived it. It was part of his life. Now for me, I didn't know this energy. I was like, whoa, what's going on? All of a sudden, like new worlds open up to me, and I understood things about me in a different way that I didn't do before. And I was the Pluto here. And he obviously was the Pluto and the Mars because he had this natally. But to me, he brought the Mars. So he made things conscious. Whereas I had Pluto and I wasn't conscious about certain things, that Mars came in and made a lot of things conscious, but it obviously happened in a very Martian way that wasn't gentle at all, not at all. And my little Pisces self was really struggling at times to hold myself up and to not feel crushed while I was learning and understanding a lot of things about myself. This is also an aspect that no matter where it falls in the chart is a very sexual aspect, right? Like a very intensely sexual aspect that is going to be a very big part of the relationship. And that doesn't mean that it's a given that the bedroom is going to be where it's at for you. No. This will, though, help you learn much more about what is right for you in this area and what isn't, what you want to do and what you don't want to do, what is actually giving you pleasure and what isn't. So there's like the awareness raised in this area is tremendous as well. And you will learn a lot about, your let's call it your drive, right? Your drive in the bedroom. And again, it's not going to always be fun. It can be a lot of fun and it can be super passionate and just, you're just in it. But it can also be on the opposite spectrum, the other side, because this aspect requires you to learn and understand what you truly want in this regard. But again, let's go back to the house area that this falls in. The house area that this conjunction falls into for you is going to be the house area where you will gain a deep understanding of what you need, like on a very, very deep level, And I'm talking unconscious, because we're talking about Pluto, like your design. Like, let's look at it from a human design perspective for a minute. I don't know if you're familiar with human design or if you're into it, but in human design, we have the design part, and then we have the personality part, and then we bring them together, and that just gives you your human design chart. But when we look at it just from the design perspective, the design is your mechanics. It's the way you're built. It's your unconscious. And that is also what Pluto is in this particular aspect, the design, the mechanics, the unconscious, your unconscious drive. Whereas Mars is your conscious drive, your personality. You know this, you like this, and you don't like this, and you want this, and you don't want this. Whereas with Pluto, it's just like you go there, and you don't really know why you go there, but you go there and you have to go there. So I believe this is a beautiful pairing that can at times make you feel destroyed. Not gonna lie. It's not an easy one. It's not an easy one to handle, especially if you are not accustomed to this energy, if you don't have a lot of Scorpio energy in your chart, if you don't have a lot of aspects between Pluto and personal planets, if you don't have a lot of 8th house stuff going on, then this is just going to be like, what is this? But the potential to learn and grow as a human being, also in a way where you understand much more what drives you, but also what you actually want. What you actually want, and from a deep core level, before all that conditioning came in. What is it, like your deep desire? Instinctual, but also intuitive. It's more instinctual than intuitive, but there is an intuitive component here as well. Again, this is an aspect that is so intense that it is hard to let go. Even if we realize, no, we want to move in. We are so different at the core, and we want things so differently in this lifetime, and we want to live so differently. Even when we know all this, even if we understand that, this aspect is just like this, it holds us. It's like it holds us so strongly together that it's going to be so hard to let go. It's a conjunction. So conjunctions are generally harder to break than any other aspect. And especially a conjunction with Pluto. A square with Pluto is also just like a, very difficult to let go of, because there is this attraction level where we don't know why, but we have to, even though we're just fighting all the time, but I can't let go. With a conjunction, we generally don't fight all the time, but when things are not good in this relationship, we quote unquote suffer through it. We suffer through it consciously, because Mars is the soldier, and the soldier is strong, right? The soldier can go through anything. The soldier goes to war, right? And can suffer through it. And so in this is an aspect where we have to become aware when we've suffered enough, when we've learned the lesson that we came to learn, when we understand that we are not able to alchemize this into something else, which is actually possible. You can alchemize this. This is an aspect that you can alchemize. You can alchemize it into something where you can both thrive. It is a possibility. This is not an impossible aspect where you just suffer and then eventually you have to realize that it's not working. No, you can work through this. I've seen this aspect in couples that are thriving after 30 years. But they consciously chose to work through it both, and they both had to work through it. It wasn't like one person said, okay, we're working through it and I'm suffering for you. The other person was just saying, yeah, I can't just let go of you, but I will not change anything. No, both people have to consciously come to understand where they are, a little weaker, where their weaknesses are and where their strengths are, and they adjust accordingly. It is an aspect where you have to understand that you're the alchemist, and it's up to you to alchemize. And that suffering, the option of suffering is there, but you consciously choose to get out of the suffering, either through leaving the relationship or through alchemizing it together. But again, it takes two to tango here. And it's a very passionate tango. Very, very passionate tango. But it can also, you got to be careful where there's a fine line between passion and seduction and just this obsession and destruction, self-destruction. So you got to walk the line very carefully here. It is not an easy aspect. It's one of, like I said, one of the most intense aspects that we can have in synastry. And it is up to us to utilize this aspect, use the awareness we can gain from it, and use this aspect in a productive way, either in this way or in that way. Neither is right or wrong. It's just what is correct for you, right? I'm not saying you will have to split up eventually or you have to make it work. No, you decide what is right for you, right? You decide. You have to take accountability, especially, with any aspect, but especially with this aspect. So, if you have any questions about this rather intense aspect, leave me a comment in the comment section below. If you want a personal reading, synastry, Davidson, composite, birth chart reading, solar return chart reading, you can book it by clicking in the link in the description box. You can also work with me one-on-one on a coaching basis. And any other questions, please feel free to leave a comment in the comment section, and I will get back to you. So have a beautiful day, and I will see you in the next video.